Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, is Vince McMahon about to take over NXT?
A major match has been pulled from All Out this weekend.
CM Punk got physical on last night's AEW Dynamite.
And there was a major return on last night's AEW Dynamite as well. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And I look a bit like the old and the new NXT logos combined, and this is the news.
Well, hey, mate, it's better than looking like a bloated marshmallow, like your news partner does. We're going to kick things off by talking this big NXT story that's been doing the rounds all night long. Bunch of different reports coming from angles here, there, and every bloody where. And we're going to start at the original source. Brian Alvarez talking on Wrestling Observer Live yesterday, talking about the NXT situation and about how when the show goes back to being live on the 14th of September,
it's going to be even worse.
Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon. It's going to be a Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon production. Those were his words. Dave Meltzer followed up on this, talking about the situation a little bit more, stating that Vince and Bruce will be focused on the big decisions rather than the little ones, and their purview could potentially be limited to like the top of the card. So they might not be all encompassing, they might not be doing everything, but it sounds like they're going to be doing something. Now, Fightful Select have come through with another report on this. They've spoken to a bunch of talent in NXT, and talent, it seems, if this decision is coming, and if this change is going down, talent haven't been informed yet. They've been kept in the dark. However, they have been informed that Bruce is going to be at the Performance Center this weekend. Attendance there is not compulsory for everyone.
Particularly if you're below 6 foot.
Yeah, or over 30 years old. But it is happening. Now, Triple H, of course, operates as NXT's executive producer. He's done that for a long time. He's the brand's founder. There's currently no word on how his role may be impacted by all of this. But you're about to pop like a balloon, aren't you?
Honestly, what a week to be Triple H. CM Punk and Sting standing tall, shilling the pay-per-view last night on Dynamite. The new logo, and then this news last night. I went to bed genuinely laughing myself to sleep with this news. I'm terrified at the same time for NXT because I still really quite enjoy elements of NXT.
It's a solid show, right?
It isn't just a gimmick, this. Obviously, I love Cameron Grimes, but I think the Grizzled Young Veterans and MSK have already had one of the best tag matches of the year and can have another one. And there's so much still potential there. I just feel like the first NXT we get, they're going to run back Kyle O'Reilly versus G. Bloody Hudson, formerly known as Vink, of course. And that 6 foot lad is going to murder Kyle O'Reilly. I think, worryingly, the clock is running out for guys like Gargano.
Johnny
Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, all the people you would suspect, rising new stars like Saray. I'm just very concerned about how that's going to change with these two in charge.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I tweeted in jest last night. It's like, hey, LA Knight's got a new hat. Kyle O'Reilly can teleport now. Is that Goldberg in the NXT zone? Changes are coming. We've known this for a while. I think the 14th of September episode is probably going to be when they pull the trigger on these changes, right? I mean, I'm just putting two and two together because,
weddings.
Weddings. That's when that goes down as well. What on earth is going on in NXT? I tell you what, these changes may not be for the better. We'll find out. But it's kind of fun to think about, isn't it?
I think, they did like 700,000 this week, didn't they, viewership-wise? I think they may bob $1 million just through, what's going to happen eyes.
Yeah, and look, a wedding's on that show and Weddings Draw. Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian out Drew Edge this year. Don't forget that for a second. So, hey, maybe it will.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Let us know your thoughts on the future of NXT in the comments. And we'll move on and talk about All Out. Of course, it goes down on Sunday this weekend. God damn, I missed Saturday AEW pay-per-views.
Me too, man.
Anyway, and a huge match has actually been pulled from the show. Andrade El Idolo versus Pac is now no longer happening on Sunday. Taking its place on the main card is the Women's Casino Battle Royale, as announced by Tony Khan. He explained this in a tweet, justifying it, saying travel issues, which I suppose is what we all anticipated when we heard this match was gone. Andrade did not take this well, tweeting, "I just wasted my time. It's like in boxing, when they don't make weight, the fighter has to be fined a sum of money, or is he just not ready to face me and he wants more time?" Well, presumably it's the latter, because they are going to face off just on an episode of Rampage instead.
Yeah.
Look, in a weird way, this might be for the best. This is a big show anyway. This match deserves time. It's probably going to get it. I anticipate it would be the main event of a Rampage and given a sufficient amount of time. But a shame because it's been sort of cursed, this storyline, for quite some time. They brought Andrade back. They put him with Vicky. They put him with Chavo. Then he became Andrade El Admino and was moving around the travel schedules of Death Triangle. What do you think to all this?
Yeah, I mean, there's good and bad to this decision, obviously. It's the chance to see this match. The ceiling for this match is very high because they're both very, very good, obviously. So you've lost that potential from this pay-per-view card. But the positives, like you've said, are the length of the show. Obviously, they've reshuffled and put the Battle Royale on the main card and put a 10-man tag on the pre-show. But
HFO versus everybody, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
On the show.
Exactly. Shouts to the Butcher. Come back soon. Speaking of HFO. But I've lost my train of thought here. Yeah, the build hasn't been particularly great. The Vicky thing didn't work. The Chavo thing isn't really working all that well either. Andrade needs a little bit of extra juice character-wise, I think. This gives them time to give him that. And obviously, something travel-related has happened. Look, we're still in the midst of a terrible health crisis, and there are restrictions. Stuff like this is going to happen every now and then. We've accepted it. We've all accepted it as part of the game for now. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Get in the bin, pandemic. Why didn't we just think of that solution at the start?
That's a really good idea.
Put the virus in the bin. It's not getting out. It's not got legs. Right. CM Punk got physical on last night's AEW Dynamite, which was, of course, in his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. Well, something Heights. Not quite Chicago, but it's like when WWE go, hey, WrestleMania's in New York. That's actually New Jersey, but never mind.
That's a nightmare to get home from.
Jeff Parker was the poor soul, friend of the channel, of course, who ate the first televised go-to-sleep from CM Punk in 7 odd years. Yeah. Big angle, Punk comes down, happy to be here, all that stuff, immediately pretty much gets jumped. 2.0, gave him a taste with Daniel Garcia, beat him down. Darby and Sting come down. They've already got existing beef with Garcia and 2.0. They save him. Sting does a Scorpion Death Drop. Punk gets mad with the punches, everything else. Hits the go to sleep. The GTS. Sting gets on the microphone and says, hey, I'm going to get out of the way. You guys can just wrestle. It was a good angle. It was over. It was popping. And Punk did the go to sleep. You know, we've seen these little indie clips of him showing up at shows in a mask, supposedly, and everything else. First proper time on TV in a long time, folks.
Yes.
So, yes.
Exactly. You're sort of burying the lead here. The real story here is the first person to put CM Punk down was 2.0. So congratulations on that, guys. You get a taste. But yes, great to see him back getting physical. And I just got to echo Michael Sidgwick's sentiments, basically, at MSidgwick on Twitter. He's got some great takes always after AEW shows. Just saying they just got that to the second perfectly right. I kind of got a tiny bit tired just as I was tiring of the sort of victory lap, the welcome back tour of CM Punk. Boom, physical stuff, gets face to face. The mask not necessarily slips from CM Punk, but you sort of see the old CM Punk of like, oh, I'm going to kill you on Sunday. This isn't just a gentlemanly, let's have a jolly good fight on Sunday. It's like one of them's going to jump off, coughing, dropping the other one. The other one's going to try and knee the other one so hard in the head, he passes out, basically. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly what I needed, and great to see it. And, what a time 2.0 have had. Welcome to the company, lads. You're going to feud with Darby Allin. You're going to have a fight with bloody Sting. And then you're going to be the first person to eat a GTS.
It's quite an upgrade, isn't it?
Oh, my days. So happy for those boys. Right, let's conclude by talking about a major return on last night's AEW Dynamite. Myself, Andy Murray, and all of us here at WhatCulture are a member of the Anna Jay community. We're very happy to see Anna Jay return last night to save her friend Tay Conti, who was getting her ass handed to her after a match with Penelope Ford. The usual numbers game beat down. Penelope Ford and the Bunny team up to beat her up. Who's going to make the save? Anna Jay is back. She was meant to be out for between 6 to possibly even 12 months with that shoulder injury she suffered in, I believe, February. But she's back, just under 7 months after that. She's great. She's back in the Casino Battle Royal, which was a very quick call by Tony Khan in Excalibur.
Yes, it was.
Last night on
yes, it certainly was.
But yes, great to see her back, Andy, and much needed.
Yeah, definitely. That's a pretty brutal injury she suffered at the start of the year, the shoulder problem, and you think like a young wrestler could potentially miss a year. That really sucks for their development and their growth for everything, but she's returned at the optimistic end of that spectrum, the 6 to 12 months. She's back. Angie's 23 or something like that. It's good. The storyline with Ty Conti obviously makes sense. They were tag team partners before. Ty's now got an ally in the Battle Royal if she needs one. It's good. I think she's one of the most exciting prospects in the company, especially in that division, which has a lot of young prospects, but I think Ty and Anna are right at the top of that list, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she does next.
Before we get on to the Twitter questions, who's your pick for the Casino Battle Royal?
Oh, it's a good question. They might be tempted to push the Jade Cargill button.
That's my pick. I've called that for a long time.
But I think it's too early for her to maybe challenge for the title. So I'm gonna say, oh man, it's so hard. Why not give it to Ruby Soho straight away?
Boom. If it's not Jade Cargill, I'd go for that one. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be great to see her in there. Or the inspiration in each bit of work. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. God, it'd be so good if they show up. Oh, I'll be so happy if they show up on Sunday night. Let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. Silverblade starts us off saying, since AEW almost always main events with the big belt, Punk and Darby has to open, in my opinion. Agreed, or are they opening with the tag belt?
Yeah, interesting one. You wanna open with someone that pops, right? And what's gonna pop more on that show than Punk and Darby? But is that too big a pop to close on?
I've got an answer. What's gonna pop bigger? QT Marshall and Big Show going 20 minutes?
There you go.
Sorry, Paul White.
25 actually.
What was that heel turn last night by Gun Club?
Sorry, mate, but we have none of your BS on this video. Tag team titles for me, it's not as anticipated a match as the CM Punk thing, so it's not the biggest thing on the card with the world title, and I think that makes sense for the opening slot, even though it's a cage match, it's the Young Bucks, it's the Lucha Brothers, and it's going to be mental. So
Canadian Destroyer off the top of the cage? I wouldn't be surprised. Genuinely wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Half the time I book stuff that physically is impossible, and then that, I think... No, I think they could do. I think Rey Fenix could definitely pull something like that.
He's the only guy who could survive that.
Exactly. But yeah, I think they might open with Punk Darby, so they just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Not in terms of like, get it out of the way, but in terms of it's a bit like the Rampage where it was like, give me Punk now. Yeah. There you go. Right, can we move on to some of the other wrestling that we've got planned for tonight, basically? I think that is going to be the case, but let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll move on to... I'm going to guess his name's Jake. It's J at K3 here, but it's just a fancy, cool way of the kids writing their name, basically. Cool. Jake writes, so who do you think, bar Roman, would cause WWE to get really serious about AEW? Hashtag asleep at the wheel.
Whoa, yeah. Whoa. As in, like, signing them, I assume. Like, yeah, I mean, Roman would be the one. I don't think he'd ever go there, but I think Roman would be the big one. There's two other names that I think would cause shockwaves. John Cena,
yeah,
I think, obviously. And if they did something with The Undertaker, I think that would make Vince flip his SHIT. Because
he was going to be at StarCast, wasn't he? At one point?
Yeah, exactly. And
no.
Yeah, exactly. Like something happened there. Again, I don't think either of them would ever do anything with AEW because of their loyalty to Vince. But if that happened, I think it would be big.
Yes. And my only other name to add to that list is one Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And they've just locked him down with a...
year and a half or something?
18-month contract, something like that. So, but yeah, I think genuinely there's a lot of people who we think, bloody hell, they're going to take notice now, and then CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Adam Cole go, and they go, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Weird situation to be in, but a very exciting time to be a wrestling fan. Let's move on to your final questions today. It comes from Dell at Moonburger76, great handle.
Nice.
Who wins a title first, Punk or Danielson? Gotta stop calling him Daniel Bryan, Adam. I think it'll be Danielson, as the storyline arc just seems to fit better. Also, will we ever see them face each other? They are so iconic. I don't think there ever needs to be a face-heel dynamic.
Yeah, I think we'll see them face off at some point, maybe a year or two down the line, but I do think it'll happen. As far as the belt goes, I think CM Punk maybe before, because Brian's going to be a guy. Brian's going to be as happy wrestling guys on Dark in 2 minutes as he is working 35-minute main events, and I think they will take full use of that guy's willingness to go down and lift up and everything else. Not that Punk isn't willing to do that, but it's kind of like one of Brian's calling cards. Whereas Punk has the hype. He's been away for so long. I think that he's probably the hotter figure, the slightly hotter figure to make it to that level first.
And the correct answer, who's going to win the belt first? MJF. And he's never going to lose it because he's never lost a singles match ever. Don't say it. I just wish, Andy Murray, with all this Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan to AEW talk, there was some sort of, I don't know, like a longer form podcast that goes about 30 minutes with like me, you and Sidgwick that was also available as a video if you want to watch that. If that was out or going to be out today, that'd be really good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be tremendous.
It's on the channel. There's podcasts if you want to listen to it as you're out and about. That's going to be coming out later. What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from. Let's move on to today's and finally. And I do apologise, we're not going to have time to get through every single person because it looked like half the signs in the crowd in Chicago last night for our very own Simon Miller. There was the Mr. Miller, give this an up. There was Simon, can I have an up sort of thing. But my favourite has to be, I'm not sure if we saw this on camera, but thank you to Canada Pennant who tagged us in this on Twitter. Who said, unfortunately, it was beside the hard camera, but the signs were there in Chicago. Canada had a sign that says, 1 up from Simon Miller. That's nice. But my favourite sign, quite possibly ever at a wrestling event, will give me warm and fuzzy feelings deep down in my tum-tum. The fact that someone's got that written on a sign in 2021 is absolutely spectacular.
Tremendous. I'll take it over the ones about Final Fantasy being bad or whatever.
Yes.
I
don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I've never actually played any of them, so maybe it is bad. I don't know. But yeah, it's good. I'm
more of a Burnout fan back in the day. Burnout 3.
I hear it's a very similar game to Final Fantasy, like cars and dragons and
yeah, basically, innit?
Yeah, Lego Star Wars is probably my favourite game.
Yeah.
It's better than Skyrim, isn't it? So.
Star Wars. But honestly, I cannot put over the fact of how, obviously Miller loves it, but we all love it here at WhatCulture. Just seeing those signs in the crowd, it is so heartening to see stuff like that. So thank you to Canada and to everyone else who took those fantastic signs to Dynamite. More power to you for that sort of thing, and see how many you can get on All Out. That's the challenge for you.
And we will shout you out on the news if we see them.
Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcasts. We got
get mine at the co-op.
The Dynamite review coming later on today, and that podcast all about Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, AEW, whatever you want to expect of that. Follow us all on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Like, say, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H today stands for Howdah, which is a seat with a canopy erected on an elephant's back, or how I travel to work every day.
It's true. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Let's put the virus in the bin.